What's good, y'all? It's Recluse Sports, and today we're here to overreact because I think the Lakers might have a chance, bro. I am just as shocked as you are, but last night showed us that this is a new look Lakers, without a doubt. So last night they faced the Warriors. Granted, the Warriors didn't have Steph or Andrew Wiggins, but hey, man, before this trade, this new look team, I still think the Lakers would have lost, especially if LeBron and AD had as bad of a game as they did last night. So last night, LeBron James had 13 points, shooting 25% from the field, bro. He was missing like layups and junk. So like I don't know what's wrong with him. People were saying that he's sick or something. So he had a pretty horrible game. And then AD only had 12 points and 12 boards, but he shot efficiently from the field. But nonetheless, he only took 5 shots. So he had not a solid game, because you expect more from him. But either way, him and LeBron combined for 25 points, and the Lakers had like a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter against the Warriors. This overall was just like a great team win, because Malik Beasley, he finished with 25 points, and he shot 7 for 11 from 3. Like, it was just automatic. He kept running to the corner, just automatic. Like, it was just crazy to see how, like, it was crazy, bro. It was just crazy. He was making everything. Then Austin Reeves had 17 points, which I looked afterward. He shot 100% from the field. He did not miss. Then you had Mo Bamba, had 10 points and 13 boards. Rui was getting buckets. I think he had like 14 points or something. Lonnie Walker, which, you know, people were talking about how he used to start. Now he's a role player again on the bench. He had 10 points. This was overall just a great team win, because literally everybody had 10 to 14 points. It was just like win by committee. That's something that you definitely could not have done with the roster prior. And they were going against the Warriors, which they are in 10th place right now in the West currently. And now the Lakers, since beating them, they're only a game and a half away from them. So that it was basically a must win. Not really a must win, but you know, if the Lakers are really shooting for that 6th seed in the West, like they keep saying, it was a must win game. And there's the clip going around how AD was like, I can't believe we're up by 20. He said he can't remember the last time they were up by 20, and LeBron was like, that never happened before. So it was great. As far as the Warriors, nobody shot above 42%. 42% in particular, because Clay had he had 22 points, shooting 42% from the field, but it was like a quiet 22. Like it felt like he was just there jogging. Like Jordan Poole, the same thing. He shot terribly. He had 16 points. It felt like he was locked, and he was shooting some shots where it's just like, bro, you're not Steph. But I understand that they run the Steph offense with Jordan Poole, which that's been a topic already, that maybe they should switch it up, because the Warriors worked before because they had 2 different systems, one when Curry's on and one when Curry's off, which made it difficult to, you know, defend. So they need to switch that up. But nonetheless, Clay and Jordan Poole, which are the ones you expect to, you know, show out, because there's nobody else. Like I said, Andrew Wiggins was out. They played. Then Ty Jerome, he had 20 points, so he was by far their best player in my opinion. He shot 53%. And then Kevon Looney had 10 points on 71% from the field, but he had 15 boards, 7 of them being offensive rebounds in the third quarter, bro. He just started getting everything. Like, I forgot who was shooting at the free throw, and he got the putback lay, and he was just all over the boards. And this is when the game started to get closer, and I was like, dang, are the Lakers really about to blow this lead? Because the Lakers were in control pretty much the whole game. Like, I don't think it was even close until the third quarter, where Kevon Looney started wilding. But after, like, other than that, like, the Lakers got what they needed, and now they actually have a team. I didn't mention D'Angelo Russell, because he got hurt like early on in the first quarter. He sprained his ankle because he stepped on somebody's foot. So they say he's going to be all right, though. But nonetheless, like, everybody on the roster, like, they contributed to the win. And that's something like you couldn't say for the past 2 years. Like, I don't know, man. The way that they were playing, I think they might actually make a push and they could make some noise. Obviously, you need LeBron and AD to actually play like themselves, but the fact that they even got the win, which everybody knows would have never been possible, and they play solid defense, because I know the Warriors don't have their stars or whatever, but they shot terribly from the field, and some of the shots they were just missing. But I'm gonna attribute that to the Lakers, because they were playing really well all night. Like, you literally cannot complain. Lakers Nation has to be hyped, because it was just a great team win, and I'm here to push that agenda because I am excited to watch this team going forward. I can't lie. Like, they actually have shooting around LeBron, which is the key to winning, and they finally have it. So I'm here to push that narrative. They can make a push. Are they contenders? I don't know. I guess we'll see. We got what they got, like 20, 21 more games left. So, hey man, it was just a great game. Last night there was a lot of blowouts. Because then after that, well, before that, I was watching the Mavs versus the Spurs, and the Spurs had Calder Johnson, who had 22, 8, and 7, shooting 61% from the field. He's been their high man like all season. I think he's having like a career year. So he was just getting what he wanted. Keita Bates Diop. I don't know if I said his first name right, but Bates Diop had extremely timely buckets. Like, he was all up on the boards or whatever. He finished with 15 points. So he just made timely buckets. Then you had Malachi Branham, who had 23 points. So he was the high man last night for the Spurs. He shot 53% for the field. He was a bucket. I can't really say nothing else. He was a bucket. But, at the same time, it's like that Spurs culture. They play team ball. But we all know that they're tanking for Wemby. So, like, they played pretty well. You had Blake Wesley, who was just literally running up and down the court. Like, he was just everywhere. Then he had the highlight where he was inbounding it and then threw it to the back of Luka, because Luka wasn't looking, and then he got the dunk. So that was a highlight. But nonetheless, they were like, the Mavs had control pretty much the whole game, but the Spurs were still around, and that's simply because of the same thing that I'm gonna be complaining about the Mavs pretty much for the rest of the season, is their defense. Even the commentators for the Mavs were saying, like, yeah, the Spurs are scoring, but it's nothing special because it's the Mavs. So that's even sad that your commentators know that, yeah, they're scoring, but it's the Mavs. You got to keep that in mind. So the defense was horrible, but nonetheless, the Mavs seemed like they came out with a different type of energy. It felt like they wanted this win. Like, they were just going to get it no matter what, because while the defense was horrible, it was a 3-point barrage. Like, let's see. Kyrie had 23 points and 6 assists. He shot 3 for 4 from the 3. Luka almost had a triple-double, had 28 points, 10 assists, 7 boards. But Reggie Bullock took a fast break 3 from like 30 or something. I'm being dramatic, but it was from far as hell. I was like, why is he shooting that? And it just went like, it was just water, bro. He finished up shooting 4 for 6 from 3. Like, everything he was shooting was just going in. Granted, he's always getting open shots, so that's the good part for him. Then Tim Hardaway Jr., you would have thought he was Steph Curry, bro, because the way he was shooting that ball with confidence, he also shot that thing from like 30 feet. Like, he on the fast break, he dribbled up court, full on sprinting, and boom, he just knocked it down. Like I say, I'm like, ooh, is that Curry? Because the way he was shooting it, you would have, like, you could have mistaken him, bro. It was crazy. He finished with 22 points. Then Justin Holiday, who they just got from the Hawks, finished 5 for 7 from 3, all in the late third quarter and into the fourth. And every time he got the ball, you just would have assumed that it was going in. Like I said, he finished with 15 points, 5 for 7 from 3. Like, each shot he got was in the corner and he was butt naked, but nonetheless, you have to make the shots, and he made the shots. Like, it was overall, the Mavs shot 22 of 42 from 3. It was just a 3-point barrage, bro. Like, everybody contributed. Nonetheless, it's against the Spurs, but it's a win that you need, so you can't really complain if you're the Mavs. Is something that you want to see going forward. So that was a great win. Blowout. Ended up finishing. I think it was like 142 to 110 or something like that. Like it. I turned the game off with like 5 minutes left because they sat Kyrie and Luka. So the game was over. So yeah, that was a good game if you were the Mavs. But now, to my opinion, the game of the night was the 76ers versus the Memphis Grizzlies because it was just a block party. Jaren Jackson Jr. had, I think, like four or six blocks or something like that, and Embiid had 4 blocks himself. Like they were just going back and forth. Jaren Jackson Jr. blocked Embiid, and then not a few possessions later, Embiid blocked Jaren Jackson Jr. So like it was just a block party. The whole time Reggie Miller's talking about, "Ooh, this is a defensive clinic. This is a classic. This is a defensive clinic," and I couldn't have agreed anymore. And I disagree with Reggie Miller a lot. It was it was a great game. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely go back and watch it. Desmond Bane in the first quarter was automatic from 3. He had like 4 threes. He only had all the threes he got in the game were only in the first quarter, though. He had 19 points in the first quarter. He almost outscored the 76ers by himself in that first quarter. Jaren Jackson Jr. had 18 points and 9 boards and 4 blocks. So, okay. Oh, yeah, so Embiid and Jaren Jackson Jr. had almost the same blocks, if I'm not mistaken. Nonetheless, Ja was... This seemed like a game where the stars were still on All-Star Weekend mode because... Granted, Jaren Jackson Jr. was an all-star, but whatever. Ja and Embiid were horrible shooting-wise. Ja had 15 points, shooting 3 for 16. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know what he was doing, bro. He must have still been on vacation because that was horrible to watch. Embiid had a crazy block on him because Ja just ran through everybody and went up for it, tried to yam it, and Embiid just blocked it. Embiid had a horrible shooting night because he definitely impacted the game. He ended up finishing with 27 points, but he shot 7 for 25 from the field. But along with that, he had 19 boards, and 6 assists. So like he wasn't having the greatest shooting night in the first half. Like it was clearly like Memphis' game to lose because Memphis was just beating the crap out of the 76ers, even though the 76ers made a little run before the halftime to bring it within like 8 or 6 points or something like that. So they had a little run which kept the game close, which is what they really needed because coming into the third they kind of kicked up a little bit. Granted, the Memphis Grizzlies responded, but yeah, you'll see. Harden looked like Houston Harden. Well, let me not be too dramatic, but he had 31.7 assists and 7 boards. Shot 6 for 9 from 3. So this was like a classic Harden game, like old Harden game. It's something that you want to see, especially when your main star is having such a horrible shooting night. So Harden, that's the reason Philly needs to love Harden because he gave them exactly what they needed. But once again, Reggie Miller, which I don't agree with him much, was talking about, okay, y'all need a third person though. And Tobias Harris showed up on time in the fourth quarter. He ended up finishing with 4 for 7 from 3. He finished with 20 points. But it was towards the end of the fourth quarter where I think it was like 3 minutes left. And that's when I knew the Grizzlies were going to lose because once you have Tobias Harris hitting all his threes, it's curtains, bro. Because, hey, man, say what you want about his contract. He'll have his moments. So Tyrese had a quiet 16 points. There was a few defensive possessions where Embiid and Harden were like yelling at him because he was just kind of letting shit slide, honestly. Defensively, Doc Rivers was kind of messing around because the man-to-man in the first half was not working, and then they tried going to 2-3 zone, and it kind of helped a little bit because, especially stopping Desmond Bane, because Desmond Bane had 19 points in the first quarter, but he ended up finishing the game with 26 points. So realistically, they shut him down. And I think he had like 2 or 3 open shots at the end of the game to try and tie it up, and he missed every single one. They were really good looks, and he just missed. So like he went straight cold from 3, and the Grizzlies ended up choking again. Like, this was their game to lose. Like I said, Philly was horrible that first half. They came out swinging that third quarter. In fourth quarter, you could just feel the tides changing. Like, it was just, okay, amen, this is the Sixers night. Because I'm not one for the refs, because I know Sixers, they get a lot of calls, but the refs were a little bit swaying towards the Grizzlies, and they still choked it. So I know that they're comfortably in the second seed in the West. You know, they had their little losing streak, and they're still second in the West. But they're not gonna win nothing playing like the way they've been playing, bro. Because they just keep choking. I don't understand. And Ja can't have these moments. I understand the Grizzlies as a whole, they're a great team. Like, you know, you have your agitator with Dillon Brooks, then you have Desmond Bane as your shooter, your co-star. Well, he's not a star, but you know, he's Ja's second man. So this is one of those games where you need Ja to show up. And that is probably my issue with them going forward, is they need to close out the games, bro. I don't understand. Towards the end, you know, Dillon Brooks and George Niang got into it. They got double texts or whatever. So, like, towards the end of the game, it got even more chippy, even though Dillon Brooks was talking to Harden the whole game. But that was fun. That was fun to watch. You can't complain. But nonetheless, this was easily the game of the night, because everything else was a blowout, and this was like tight till the last minute, literally. So, if anything, y'all should watch that game. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to talk about last night because I'm glad the NBA is back, and I watched a lot of basketball. So if you like the content, subscribe, and I will be making more stuff in the future. So I'm out. Peace.